YouTuber Myka Stauffer sparks outrage by rehoming 4-year-old son with autism. This is a story that I want to talk about today. I've seen it floating around Twitter and YouTube and some news websites, and it's something that I think is an incredibly complex issue, but it's definitely something that needs talking about and that raises a lot of questions and that raises a lot of discussions. I don't have any definitive answers. I'm not here to say this is definitely wrong and this is definitely right. I definitely don't want to sit here and demonize anyone, but what we do need to do is take a look at this situation and think about what questions it raises, especially in regards to the appropriateness of, I guess, family vlogging channels and showing your children online, what it means to share that intimate part of your life with the world. We have to think about what it means for children and their best interests and how it's best to raise children that do have either physical disabilities or mental disabilities, I guess you could say. I want to make sure I'm using the right terminology here, but if I am getting anything wrong, please correct me, because it's not my intention to, demonize anyone. The thing is with this case, I thought I would go into it, and part of making this video was to work through my own thoughts on the topic, but the more I uncovered about this family, the more of an issue I think it is, and the more worrying I think it is. But I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe that's just because I've been too submerged in it today, because once you start going down the rabbit hole, yeah, there's a lot going on. So where do we even start? So Myka Stauffer is a YouTuber with over 700,000 subs on her main channel. I think her husband has a channel as well with something to do with cars, and then apparently they have a third family-based channel with 300,000 subs. And on her channel in particular, and the family channel, the content is this kind of typical family-focused vlogging style, which, as you can probably guess, I personally have zero interest in, so I wasn't aware of her before any of this came out. Her videos include stuff like watch me clean and look, I have a newborn baby and I'm a better mum than you. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. I'm being a little snarky. I'm kind of cynical when it comes to these kinds of channels. But I'm not joking, they're the kinds of videos she basically makes. They're not the exact title she uses, but you know what I mean. I guess I'm just not really comfortable with people who use their kids online for fame and attention and money. It just doesn't quite sit right with me, and I'm a little dubious about the content because it just doesn't feel genuine or authentic, at least not the kind of highly edited bits that I've seen. And I don't know, I think we all know that raising kids isn't all sunshine and roses. It's not all, oh, let's sit down and paint as a family, let's braid each other's hairs, let's show the world what a pretty, happy, perfect little family we are. That's not what raising kids is like. That's not realistic. And part of me knows that the thing with vlogs is that they're highly edited highlights of life. You cut out the messy part, but then that's not a realistic or at least complete portrayal of family life, and it's just, yeah, I think this is exactly an example of them not showing the messy bits and it kind of backfiring. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's come back to that thought. What I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with if you like and enjoy this kind of content, that's absolutely fine, that's up to you, you're allowed. It's just not for me, and part of it just doesn't sit right with me, but that's a completely personal thing. So, Myka, she is a family vlogger with 4 other kids, and back in 2007, her and her husband adopted another child, Huxley, from China. Just a few months ago, Myka wrote this article for Parade, which was titled, Myka Stauffer Talks International Special Needs Adoption. All forms of adoption are beautiful. And in it, she wrote a lot about the adoption process and what it was like getting Huxley as part of their family. A few select quotes for you. Our adoption journey started in fall 2016 when my husband and I decided adoption was the right choice for us. They had 3 other children at that point. I think 1 was hers from a previous marriage, and then 2 of them they'd had together. My husband was resistant at first, but after letting him reflect on the idea for several months, we both agreed to start researching and see what surfaced. At first we looked into every adoption route and kept being redirected to international adoption when we put into the age and time frame we were ultimately seeking. Since Chinese adoption laws only allow US couples to adopt children who have special needs, beside other stipulations, at first we couldn't wrap our head around special needs adoption. We would just say, no, we can't handle all of that, we just want a simple adoption. But as we let the idea soak in, God softened our hearts. Before we knew it, we were open to almost every special needs in the book. Now, knowing what we know now, this is a bit of a red flag to me. Because taking on any child with special needs, whether it's biologically your own or adopted, shouldn't really matter. It's going to be a lot of work. It's not something you go into lightly. As with any child, I don't think the attitude of, oh, well, let's just give it a try and see how it goes, is really appropriate. I think before you raise any child, especially one that has extra or slightly more difficult needs or whatever, you need to be 100% sure that you can give them the best life possible. It's not just a matter of like, oh, well, we'll try and see what happens. I think you need to be sure, because otherwise it's not just like, oh, well, you'll try on this dress and if it doesn't fit, you send it back. This is a child's life you're messing with. You don't want to be uprooting them and passing them around, you know? You don't want to give them hope and then snatch it away. Yeah, I don't know, so I know it's not the same, but when I was looking to adopt a dog, I tried to stay really realistic about what I could manage and what I could handle, and the kind of dog that I would be right for, as well as the kind of dog that would be right for me. So like I said, with stuff like, if it has like anxiety or separation issues, that's not a problem because I work from home and I've got that time and I'm going to be around, so that if there were any of those issues, we could work on them together and that would be fine. But I knew I wouldn't be financially capable of looking after a dog with a lot more like physical health issues or something like that. I wouldn't have the resources to look after it. I knew that I probably wouldn't be, I'm not all that experienced with dogs with like aggression issues, so that's not something I was kind of able to take on, and I specified all that, and that's how they ended up matching me with Kyra, and I knew exactly what she was like going into it, and I was fully aware of everything, and it was perfect, it worked out, you know? I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's important to know your limits before you go and change someone's life. It's alright to say you want to adopt to save or change or make someone's life better, but in all of that you have to remember, don't try and be a hero for the sake of it. You know, this isn't about you, this is about the child. And ultimately, if you don't have the skills to look after it, don't. Let someone else do it who can give them the best possible life. I don't know, I don't want to sound cold, but So she went on to write in that same article, when we came home, we experienced a big surprise with inaccurate file information. Our son ended up having a stroke in utero, has level 3 autism and sensory processing disorder. Hey, so editing me here, and I just kind of want to throw in a thought that I didn't mention in the video and I don't know why. But basically, I think this is what kind of complicates it even more for me, because if they didn't fully know what they were getting into beforehand, can we really blame them? I don't know. They were told that he had neurological issues. They were told it related to certain things like brain tumours, and they were told there were issues. They just weren't told specifically what the issues were, and they weren't told that it was autism. So, I don't know. I don't know if we can blame them or not, but part of me still wants to say it shouldn't matter. If you're prepared to take on a child, you're prepared to take on everything to do with that child, the good, the bad, the difficult, you know. But if they didn't know, I don't know. This is why it's so complicated. Ugh. Let's get back to the video. He is a great kid and his condition doesn't involve that much overall care. All you need is a big heart and practice patience every day. It's a different kind of patience. So she said that about 7 months ago now. And over the, I think it's about 2.5 years since they adopted Huxley, Myka and her family have kind of become sort of like spokespeople, I guess, online for adoption, particularly international adoption. It's kind of their brand now, you know. Videos about Huxley and the adoption process were often sponsored by brands. One article reported that her 3 and 5 month adoption update videos included a link to Young Living essential oil products, which is an issue for me in itself because you know how I feel about essential oils and MLMs. Yeah, the point is, she was kind of, I don't want to say she was profiting off this adoption, but so adopting Huxley, it being an international adoption, cost a lot of money. Like, they had to put a lot of money into the process and like flying him over here and all this stuff. And I think one article I read said it cost about $40,000, and they crowdfunded that. They got their audience to donate money so they could adopt him and bring him over. And then once they did, I don't want to say they used him, but as a byproduct of having him, they made a lot of money out of it in terms of sponsorships and brand deals and content. And yeah, so that happened. Yeah, there are countless examples of her saying stuff like, he's been home for, like I said, almost 2 years, and I don't know what I would do without Huxley. And not everything is perfect. We do have a good meltdown and a good tantrum every single day. It's the fact, but that is my baby boy, and like this year especially has showed me that God intended Huxley to be mine, 100%. Huxley is my son through and through. He's my baby boy, and I'm so glad he's part of our family. I couldn't do my day without him. Fast forward a couple of months, and people were wondering why they hadn't seen Huxley on social media, like not in her videos, not on Instagram, and normally she's like posting her kids constantly. Like I say, it's part of her brand essentially. As some examples, I found a forum post from the 20th of March which said, she's recently come under fire due to rumours that she and her husband have removed their adopted child from their home, allegations which they're both strangely ignoring. What's especially troubling is that she's actively deleting any and all comments asking about Huxley, which is extremely unusual for her. Recently, Myka deleted an old video that showed her rejecting affection from Huxley, which got a lot of flack on a different forum, which proves she's aware of the controversy. This is overall disturbing and sad, especially for a kid who had a really difficult time being uprooted from China and adjusting to his new family. So like I say, she was ignoring a lot of these questions and criticisms for a while, and it turns out the reason she wasn't posting photos of him, as she revealed just yesterday, like within the last 24 hours basically, is because they'd placed him with a new family, or as many people are saying, they rehomed him, but I don't know if I like that word, rehoming. It might be the official term, but that's not the point here. Yeah, I have a hard enough time getting my head around people adopting dogs and cats and then taking them back when they realise they can't cope. Like, you only just realised that. So I don't quite get how someone could do that to a kid who is literally a part of your family. Like, he's obviously, by that point, built up a bond with you as parents, with his brothers and sisters. His brothers and sisters have built up a bond with him. Like, and there's all the extended family as well. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And this is what confuses me, right? Because they said they did it because they couldn't care for him like he needed. And on the one hand, I'm like, well, okay, that's kind of a good thing. Kids should be where they're best cared for, right? But on the other hand, he's not a commodity that you can just pass around. He's not something that you can just give to someone else when it gets too much for you. He's an individual. You chose to bring him into your family. You deal with the consequences of doing that and you look after him. If you're struggling to cope, they have enough money to go out and like hire nannies and nurses and all kinds of people that could help, surely. And going back to the Parade article that Myka wrote about 7 months ago, talking about when they first adopted him, she said Huxley was 2.5 years old and naturally scared and upset with having everything he has known taken away and starting with new people he has never seen before. And it breaks my heart to read that, because now he's having to go through it all over again. And this time, I'm sure it's going to be even worse, because, you know, he's going to feel rejected from that happening, and now he's going to be wondering with these new people, well, are they just going to reject me as well? I think it's going to mess him up. And at this point, him being older, he's definitely going to be more aware of what's happening and understand it a bit more than he did when he was 2 and a bit, now that he's 4, nearly 5, you know? They kept saying things in the video, like how he was now with a new forever family. And I don't know, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, no, it's not a new forever family, is it? It's an actual forever family, because you weren't a forever family because you're giving him up. Sorry. It's me getting a little emotional. But yeah, amongst all this, other reports have come out which are really messed up. And the biggest thing that's floating around is this screenshot that I found on Twitter. About how they put duct tape on Huxley's hands to stop him sucking his thumb. Now, I think the original video has been deleted because I couldn't find it, or maybe there's like a re-upload out there, I'm not sure, but I struggled to find it. But I've seen the screenshot, and as the person who posted this on Twitter is saying, sucking your thumb is like a coping mechanism when you're panicking, right? It's a comfort thing for kids. And yeah, sometimes you want to get them out of it, because I don't know if it's true or if it's an urban legend, but there's things about it messing up like the placement of your teeth and stuff. I don't know. But the fact that they would duct tape his hands, like punishing him for something that's comforting him, is bizarre to me. And apparently, like this woman said, the other kids weren't punished for it, apparently. They were just helped to like grow out of it. It seems barbaric. I read another forum post from one person who said that not long after Huxley came to live with the family, and I quote, "It became very clear how unprepared she was," meaning Myka, "despite all the videos she'd made about bonding and attachment and so on." And then they also recounted another incident that comes to mind is where Myka decided to give Huxley a haircut very soon after bringing him home that wasn't totally necessary. Huxley was screaming, crying, and very distressed, when Myka was smiling and beaming about how he looked so much cuter. I also found these video clips from Instagram.
What'd you do? I just did a thing.
Huxley, you look like Ruka. You gave him a Ruka cut.
Does he look 5 million times cuter? Oh my gosh, there's still hair all over the kid. Like, he was mad. He was like, we're not doing this.
Ruka?
Well, let's see you one more time. Show Daddy.
Hi, Huxley Bear.
Hi.
He's not happy about that haircut, Mom.
Okay, let me wake him up for you.
No.
Huxley has had multiple meltdowns.
I'm not having a good day today.
We never tell you guys the truth. And that's why you don't see Huxley a lot in the vlogs. He's probably having a meltdown. Are you done?
He's just
Are you
having a
over
bad
yourself?
day. He's a grumpy day today.
And this kind of odd video about how they put him to bed earlier than the other kids so they can have some, like, mum and dad time with the other kids without him.
Huxley is laying down. And guys, Huxley goes in his room to lay down at 7:30 because I know people have been asking. He goes down usually early at the end of the day because Huxley is special needs. And in our house, he requires an extra amount of attention and just help with everything from Mike and I. So a lot of the times our attention is taken by him a lot more during the day. And at nighttime when he goes down at 7:30 because he's ready for bed, he's like, Huxley's 3.5, but he's kind of like a 1-year-old developmentally. So for him, night time is like 7:30, a little bit earlier. And then we let the other kids stay up a couple extra hours just to hang out in our bedroom, watch a movie, and just kind of get that mom and dad time that, you know, Huxley kind of takes during the day.
And it just all feels a little bit weird. Like, I understand that he has different needs to the other children, but that doesn't necessarily mean he should be treated as less than them in any way, or I don't know, I found it a bit bizarre. But yeah, it all just feels a little off and messed up, and at this point, who knows what else is going to come out, because whether we like it or not, people are going to be looking a lot into this family now. They're going to be looking closer at them, at their behaviour, at their past. With the current situation, I have really, really mixed feelings and mixed thoughts, because on the one hand, I'm like, well, I relate, you know, I don't think I would be good enough to raise a child like that had those needs, but then I wouldn't go out and adopt one. And I also kind of think, well, on the one hand, this is a great thing for Huxley, because at least he'll be with a family now who can look after him, who are going to be better for him, that hopefully are going to take care of him and love him forever. That he's not going to be with a family who potentially exploit or mistreat him, you know, I hope. But at the same time, I feel really bad for him being uprooted and, I don't know, hurt like this. I don't know how he must be feeling. Like, I know he's a little kid, but I know it just breaks my heart seeing people treat children or animals as though there's some kind of belonging they can just pass around when they're bored of them or when they're not making the money anymore or whatever. I don't know. I guess kind of part of this comes back to why I'm pro-choice, you know? I feel like if you don't believe you can look after a child as well as it deserves, stop the pregnancy before it becomes a sentient being, you know? And similarly, if you don't think you can handle everything an adopted child will throw at you, don't adopt the child. I don't know. I know it's not that simple. I know it's much more complicated than that. I know I'm quite emotional at this point. I'm just very confused because I don't quite know how to feel. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's important that with cases like this, we talk about it and be aware of them. And hopefully we try and learn something from this so we can kind of learn, I guess, kind of what warning signs to look for in other families. I guess we can learn a little bit more about ourselves as individuals and being a little more mindful about what we do with our bodies and our families and our children and who we bring into the world and who we raise and how we raise them, you know? And yeah, I guess I just want to pass it over to you and ask what you guys think of this whole situation, what you think of the family, if you guys have seen or read anything else that I haven't covered here. Yeah, I really don't know what to think. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I feel a lot, but I don't really have any answers. And that also bothers me. But like I say, leave me your thoughts in the comments below, please. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate you guys so much. And hopefully I'll see you again soon with a slightly less serious and more fun video.